The mission of our church depends on our ability to be hospitable. We needed to seek out partnerships. We needed to begin to develop new ways of doing ministry in this place.
A couple of years ago, our Synod Council decided that we should have some conversation about where and if we might move from our location in downtown Atlanta when our lease expired. A task force was formed to look into that and came up with several suggestions. One, that we would move and that we would try to move and share space with the congregation, provided our doing that would be helpful to the congregation. And we were also hoping to find a congregation that was centrally located, that had ample and free parking, and also a congregation that was engaged in the community in which it was located. That group did some work over about a year and then recommended to the Synod Council that we move to St. John's in Atlanta.
When the Synod approached us and when we began to have those conversations, it was a natural fit for us. It gives us a way to share ministry with the Synod, to be able to give the Synod a congregational base from which to do their mission and ministry, and for all of us to be able to work together.
Our current space that we were occupying at the time in the United Way building was heavy on office space and very light on meeting room space. We felt that we could have new space that had fewer offices to mirror the way that we work now, which is mostly remotely. In the United Way building, we were paying a bit over $7,000 every month for rent and parking. And at St. John's, we'll be paying just a bit over half of that, which will mean that we will have several $1,000s a year over the life of the lease that we can use for ministry and mission rather than for rent and parking. We kind of lead the ELCA as in mission developments and redevelopments, so we hope that frees up a bit of money for that. One of the things that synods do is prepare candidates to serve this church as pastors and deacons. Our synod has at any one time somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 to 75 candidates. We are a large net producer of candidates for ministry in the ELCA. And of course that's expensive, and a lot of that cost has been borne by those students who often emerge from seminary pretty deeply in debt. We hope we can use some of this for bringing those candidates along and maybe even for easing a bit some of the debt there. We unfortunately are among the leaders in the church for is disasters. We have hurricanes, we have tornadoes, we've had fires, but our disaster response team has done great work in setting up a network across the Synod, work that's been a model for other synods, and we hope this frees up a bit of money that we might be able to use to continue that good work as well. St. John's, it is, as things go in Atlanta, easy to get to. It's not far from a MARTA station, so when we have out-of-town guests who fly into the airport, they can come to the nearby MARTA station and be picked up there. We're also very near Emory University, and because now we are engaged in working with Lutheran students who are preparing for ministry in Atlanta from Candler, the Divinity School at Emory, and from the ITC and from Columbia Theological Seminary, and also from McAfee, another seminary in Atlanta. And because a lot of that education and training we are helping to provide for them with the help of Southern Seminary and Columbia, this is a really excellent location. The largest, or one of the largest theological libraries in the United States is a mile from here. One of the intangible benefits of being in this place is that the building here, before it was a church, it was a home.
This is a house, and one of the things that people frequently say when they come here is, it feels like a home, and that makes for, I think, a different experience. We were lucky to get it. We are blessed by this place.
The space we'll be occupying was part of a mansion called Stonehenge, and you still see signs of that everywhere, including in large fireplaces in most of the rooms, some of them quite decorative. And the worship space at St. John's, which is an octagonal stone building with an altar right in the middle, it's a beautiful and interesting building. It's also a churchy space. That is, in the past, we've been in a kind of commercial business space, and now we'll be in a church. We hope that the kind of comfort that one feels in this place and the being in a home will carry over into how people who come to experience the Synod staff as well. Among the terrific partners that we've had at St. John's are John and Ellen Yates, who have been honorary chairs of our Living Lutheran Legacy campaign. I met John and Ellen when we were all a lot younger than we are now, when they were members of St. John's and I was an intern, and over the years have been impressed over and over with their great love for not only St. John's, but for the ministry we do together as the ELCA Southeastern Synod.
And we're very honored to support what's going on here in connection with bringing the Synod to this part of Atlanta. We're particularly excited to have an atrium named after Bishop Troutman and Bishop Gordy.
Right, one of our first interns from seminary was Julian Gordy.
The pastor of this congregation when the nave was built was Jerry Troutman. And I remember on my very first Sunday preaching, sitting right in front of the lectern from which I was to give the sermon was Jerry and Mary Hope Troutman. I was intimidated, to say the least, but I didn't know Jerry as well then as I got to know him. He was such a gentle and kind person who would only offer encouragement.
We hope that you'll come and visit. We have plenty of parking. It's a great opportunity, too, to see how the Synod is going to be able to serve the community. And I think better serve not just the community of Atlanta, but also the community of the entire region covered by the Southeastern Synod.
What the gifts and donations that come in through the Lutheran Legacy Project will exclusively do is to work towards the renovation of the dedicated space that will be specifically set apart for the Synod office space and for the dedicated entrance that the Synod will have.
We are sharing spaces and we are coordinating scheduling and things of that nature, but the Synod identity is intact and St. John's identity is intact.
And we are so grateful for the gifts of other individuals and congregations in helping to make the Synod space available and to help make that dream come true. And so we thank you. We thank you for your donations. We thank you for your support. We thank you for your prayers as we undergo this exciting new challenge and new opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Many thanks.
Thank you.